Regarding the post office scandal, the police are to deploy 80 detectives for criminal inquiry. We're going to read into this exclusive from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from The Guardian with the headline of the post office scandal that the police are to deploy 80 detectives for criminal inquiry. The exclusive reveals that the investigation will dig into potential perjury offences and perverting the course of justice by senior leaders and Fujitsu. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. While I'm pleased that they are obviously deploying those to try and track down those for criminal inquiries and hopefully deliver some kind of justice for people, and understandably we don't know how long it's going to take here for that justice, if any, to be done. My concern is obviously that those who obviously have or who are not living in the country, who are outside the country, outside the jurisdiction of the UK, how much will these detectives be able to perverse the course of justice by those who have already fled the UK for their responsibilities and actions that they have caused with regards to this post office scandal? I think is the question that really does raise me eyebrows. If people who, whether it's, and I really think that whether it's just politicians may have played a part in this, whether it is just those who worked in Fujitsu, whether it is those who still work in the post office or who are living in this country or any parts of the UK, they have any part of this whatsoever, then obviously the detectives will be able to come after them. Obviously, will be able to go after them. But obviously, I'm not sure how they'd be able to go after those who are obviously outside the country. So this is a lot of detectives that the post office the police are deploying to this. But we want something coming back from this. We want some justice to come back from this. If the police are going to be putting a lot of time and effort and money into something like this, but also at the same time, this is needed. This is just. This is righteous that there is as much criminal inquiry as we can, because people's lives were destroyed. People's lives were not just destroyed. Everything was taken from them. Their time was taken away from them. Some of them are no longer here. Some of them took their own lives. Some people lost loved ones. Some people were completely disowned by their friends, their families, and their communities over this. It's not just for me, it's just about the money. For me, it really does matter that we try to get some kind of justice, course of justice here. And I understand how people feel about how difficult it is to get some justice. I totally understand that. But I generally do hope at some point, I don't know when, that we do get some justice and some criminal charges and some people thrown in jail for this. I hope. That is my general belief. But let's read a bit more into this, you guys. So, police are planning to deploy 8 detectives for their criminal inquiry into the post office scandal, The Guardian has learned, but victims will face a long wait to discover if charges will follow. The investigation will examine potential offences of perjury and preventing the course of justice by post office senior leaders, as well as tech companies Fujitsu. I know I mispronounced the name, you don't need to tell me in the comments. Police have already started discussions with prosecutors about the investigation and potential criminal charges, which stem from the possibility that post office operators were wrongly prosecuted for stealing when bosses allegedly knew that their computer accounting system could be flawed. The police operation will be national and split into 4 regional hubs. The staffing and resources will be similar to a major murder or terrorism investigation. The police have asked government for a special grant for at least $6.75 million to fund the operation. Now, obviously, there is no government as of right now because Parliament is dissolved and there is a general election. So whether they will get this funding from a Labour government, obviously if Labour come into power, remains to be seen. So obviously this is something that is going to have to be put on hold, but will be highlighted when the general election is said and done and a government is formed and whatnot. So obviously this will be once again highlighted about whether or not there would be that funding needed in order to grant this. And obviously if Labour turn around and say no, well, people can just blow this up saying, Labour are denying Labour don't want to track down the criminals responsible for this post office scandal. It will and the right wing will try to paint it as Labour are doing some kind of cover up, which I don't think they would intentionally do. But I do think that there is they do need to look into that if Labour do come to power. But the victims face a big delay in finding out who pursued them or said wrongly. Will themselves face criminal trials. Police will not seek charging decisions. It is sent files of evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service until after the public inquiry into the post office scandal concludes, which is expected until autumn 2025. Yes. So obviously they can't. Obviously they need to let the public post office inquiry finish, which is completely understandable there. And then once that ends, they're expecting it to end around autumn 2025. It may extend beyond that possibly. We'll keep an eye on it and wait and see. But there's no point seeking charges until all the information is out there. As much information that has been gathered, and obviously the police will take a lot of information from this post office inquiry in order to be able to track and pursue those responsible. It is expected that the CPS will not reach charging decisions until 2026, and the wait for any criminal trials could be even longer. Detectives and civilian analysis are yet to be recruited, with the start of the full national police investigation months away. Early workers identified at least 20 potential suspects, but more could follow as the criminal inquiry gets fully underway. One source said there could be dozens of potential suspects. So 20 is a good start, obviously, if that is the case. But obviously, as that could even change with regards to this post office inquiry. That could tie into finding even more on top of that, obviously, as well. The team, once up and running, will consider whether the offence of fraud should also be added to the list of offences that should be examined. Special Casework Division of the CPS is advising police on the post office investigation and deals with complex cases. Since 2020, the Metropolitan Police has been leading the investigation, but the scale of the potential crimes and the fact that so many cases are outside London area has led to the plan to establish a national operation. Yes, it can't just be under one jurisdiction. It can't just be the Metropolitan Police, who rightfully I've questioned and slammed on many occasions here on this channel, not gonna lie. So obviously I question their ability, and I do question police in general, but it needs to be across community, obviously across other police industries around in different regions, and obviously to track this. So it's not just about one police force, about multiple police forces working in cooperation in order to track those responsible. Stephen Clayman, the Met commander, said a team of detectives has been painstakingly working through millions of documents manually and with the help of specialist software in parallel with the public inquiry. This is the very time-consuming, and we cannot cut corners or risk missing evidence. Given the significant scale of the investigation, it has been agreed by the National Police Chief Council, the NPCC, that the next phase of the investigation will be a national policing effort coordinated by the Met with the pursuing of justice at its heart. It is expected the plans for national investigation will go to the police chief's decision-making body, calling the National Police Chief Council, to be approved. The new national phase of the police investigation will be overseen by a senior officer, most likely the Met's Assistant Commissioner Louisa Rothwell. More than 900 sub-post office operators were prosecuted between 1999 and 2015 after errors in the Horizon software system wrongly showed money missing from their branches. Some were jailed, pursued for money, financially ruined, and in some cases so broken by the pressures and injustices they took their own lives. The post office continues to fight for those who were wronged in 2019. Then a new law has exonerated some of those convicted, and they will be entitled to final compensation of £600,000 or can accept an interim payment that keep their legal options open. The public inquiry is examining the non-disclosure by Royal Mail Group Limited and Post Office Limited of the existence of problems with and or concerns about the reliability of Horizon, which brings criminal proceedings against persons alleging to be responsible for those shortfalls. It is also examining at what level within the organisation name and government were these known. Police have been closely monitoring the evidence, verbal and in writing, at the public inquiry. And that, obviously, as it is said in there, and rightfully so, it's very important that we wait and see, obviously, what the outcome of the post office inquiry comes to. But I am pleased to hear that the police are obviously going to be looking into a criminal inquiry itself, and I do hope that they do get the funding that they need by the government in order to see the justice that needs to be done. to show that the government, whoever it will be, shows that they are serious about dealing with this. They are serious about tackling this, and they are serious about bringing justice to those who have wronged others. If it does come to pass, obviously, understandably, I know that it cannot be done overnight. I know it will take some time, but I do generally hope, I really do hope that there are some criminal convictions come the end of this, whether it is whether it's in a few years. I really hope in a few years' time we see some criminal convictions for those who were part of this, scandal, and justice is brought to some of them, so that some people whose lives have been destroyed can gain some closure to this. I would like to think so, and I hope you guys feel the same way about this too. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of the police are to deploy lots of more detectives to start up a criminal inquiry? Obviously, the work cannot start until the end of the post office inquiry, but what do you guys make of this? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.